want to do a little introduction. I'm Misty Karlfeld with Health Freedom Idaho, and I'm excited to do this video with Jacqueline.
I'll do a little, tell people who I am. So my name is Jacqueline. I'm in Washington State. I'm a board member for Informed Choice Washington. I live on the east side of the state, so I'm about 15 minutes from the Idaho border.
This video with Jacqueline because when I was at Autism One, I got to do a little talk there, and I started off explaining how we have a constitutional republic, and I saw some blank faces in the crowd, except for Jacqueline, who's like, woo!
Woo, woo, woo.
And I was like, that's my girl right there.
Yeah.
That is my girl. And so ever since then, I've been going to a lot of different events and hearing our health freedom movement people saying that we have a democracy. And I'm thinking, this is so dangerous because we don't have a democracy. And in a democracy, the mob rules and gets to decide that we all need to be vaccinated, right?
Yeah, that's dangerous. I think we hear it in the media so much because they use democracy that you just kind of repeat it because that's what you hear. But we cannot do that anymore. We cannot.
Yeah.
So, yes.
And really, it's been a brainwashing for I don't know how long in our schools. And the first time, I was actually a grown adult with 2 kids. The first time I heard we were not a democracy and we're a constitutional republic. And you know how I heard about that was on the radio. It was an ad for a local school here, and they were interviewing what you could tell on the radio were adults. You know, what type of government do we have? We have a democracy. Everybody, all the adults were saying we have a democracy. And I'm thinking in my mind, we have a democracy. And then the kids that were going to that school started saying, we have a constitutional republic. And I was like, what? What is this constitutional republic you're talking about? I need to find out. Yes, the government funded schools are being funded to tell your children that we have a democracy. And a democracy protects the best kept secret, our inalienable rights.
Democracy is a mob rule.
It's a mob rule.
Constitution, our founders laid out our constitutional rights because it protects all of us. It's not one over the other. We all have our own individual uniqueness and our rights to protect that. And when we're talking democracy, I love the way our Constitution, our founders laid out our constitutional rights because it protects all of us. It's not one over the other. We all have our own individual uniqueness and our rights to protect that. And when we're talking democracy, that's not how it goes. I think I was dealing with the school exclusion here in Washington, and I went down to our city council and I spoke with one of our elected city council members, and I said, you know, these kids need some help, and I need your help, like, advocating for them. And she looked at me and she said, I only support the majority and not the minority. And I just like, and you call yourself a Republican, you know? So that was hard. And I just thought, no, that we all have a voice. We're all equally important. Right. And so that's one of my things I'm trying to correct is please stop using the word democracy. It's like every time you hear it, like your nails scratching across the chalkboard.
And the constitutional republic. So the Constitution then is supposed to be the framework within that the government works within. That's supposed to sort of, you know, protect them from the overreach of getting into your personal, your natural God-given rights.
I don't know. How can we operate as a constitutional republic if people we're electing don't even know that?
Right. I'm almost wondering, I mean, some would say we operate as a democracy right now, even though that's not what we have or what we're intended to operate on. But then I'm almost thinking we're almost an oligarchy. And that's terrifying. Yeah. An oligarchy is where the elite rule the nation.
Yeah. Well, we're being ran by corporations. I mean, it's a business, right? They've taken over. And we got to take that back. We're the people. We run the government. Not elected officials represent us. We don't bow down to them. They work for us.
That's right. Absolutely.
Yes.
And we're supposed to be involved in a constitutional republic. We're supposed to be involved 365 days a year. In a
Yes.
democracy, you're only involved one day. That's voting day. So
Yeah,
we
no.
are supposed to be the government. It's not supposed to be the government and then the people. We are the government. So it changed. I don't know if it changed this for you, Jacqueline, but it changed it for me when I saw the legislators as fellow citizens working together in our constitutional republic, not some higher up somebody that I'm supposed to be fearing, but my
Yes.
fellow citizen. How about you?
I would agree. Like, just, well, I'm getting to know a lot of them too, and I'm really blessed to be where I'm at, where a lot of my elected officials understand this, so they've guided me through and really coached their constituents on that. So
Yeah.
when I first started, I didn't know. You know, I'm like begging people to help me, like, please help my son, help me, and then you start learning this. You're like, wait a minute. Like, no, I have a due process rights. I have a constitutional right. You are not going to do this to me anymore. So I'm taking over. Yeah,
That's awesome.
and
Yeah.
I want to think it's not too late, that we're waking up early enough. But gosh, we got to get out there and vet candidates and start electing people that will stand for the Constitution and our constitutional republic. So.
Yes, and we've really got to change our terminology and our movement, because in a democracy, we don't have the right to not vaccinate our child.
No.
If 51% of the people say we have to do it, we have to do it. And we're a slave then. And our children are slaves then, because we're in the minority. And the only reason our minority is protected right now is because of the constitutional republic.
Yes.
So if we don't change our terminology, we're going to be just like the rest. What do we even have to stand on? And I was asked at dinner the other night, what in the Constitution protects your right to not vaccinate? And I said, well, let's talk about life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
Yeah.
So we can talk about autism and we can talk about all these things all day long, but if we're not knowing the rights that we're standing on, we're going to lose.
Yes. Yeah. Because it's hard to, when we go and talk to legislators about, vaccine injuries or different things, like, I think that's the wrong direction. We need to be sticking with the Constitution, because if we stick firm to that, we're all protected. Our children are protected. Our bodily integrity is protected. So.
Oh, Jacqueline, you've said so many awesome quotable things today. I just want to quote you. Put it in quotes and put your name on it. So expect that to happen.
Yeah, we'll do the hashtag "We are done." We are done with this, guys. Rise up.
Yeah, rise up. Yes.